Okay, my top 5 Tory records slash projects of all time, but I'm gonna use records. It just feels more professional. Top 5 records by Tory. Starting at number 5, I'm gonna go ahead and roll with Chixtape number 2, just because I feel like not only is it the best Chixtape out of all series, but I think it's the most unique sounding and really the most deviant out of all of them, for a special reason that Tory wasn't necessarily always chopping up a sample and then just either playing it at a lower tone, or you know what I mean, just kind of like just slap some 808s and hi-hats and think that shit's rocking, you know what I mean? Like, I get he really went on another level with Chixtape 5. However, I feel like because he made it as a commercial album, it really restricted him from really being as creative and using the right samples, or even really using the best sample choices that he could have used. Because Chixtape 2, he wasn't restricted with having to choose a big name title. No, he just chose whatever sample felt like cool. Like, I want to rock with this. You know what I mean? And I think that's where you feel like the organicism of Chixtape 2. Because then, you know, you just get this feeling that, you know, he's not just chasing after clout for whatever song he felt like he could just turn up and just make it dope. You know what I mean? Like, no, like he actually took a sample of a song and made a whole different song out of it instead of sounding, you know, similar. You know what I mean? So, like, yeah, he had songs like All That where he kind of toned it down. But to me, songs like, you know, Ride, where he flipped it, like, that shit was dope. You wasn't thinking about Pony. You was thinking about a new different song based off Pony, but it was a whole different song called Ride. That's what I'm talking about. Girl Is Mine, I like the way he chopped that up. That shit was clean. Rain was something else. Playing that shit backwards, like the way they did on the production, was clean. Unity was also dope, slowing it down, and Tory just kind of freestyle singing it. I love that. Something Part 2, I like how they did that shit. That shit was clean. Something Part 1 as well, nothing to slack on. TLC, in my opinion, that's the song where Tory basically takes the blueprint and uses that on every fucking song, over, like, just overkills that, you know, type of style on future Chixtapes going forward. That's where really you get the most unique version, because then you get the sample, and really the storytelling on that is what makes it dope too, because like it wasn't just him just saying whatever he felt. Like, he actually kind of went through his own experience and kind of put that on there. Like how he was like, no, I don't want no scrubs, and he goes, do you remember that? Because I remember that. Like, that shit's cold. It really kind of balances, you know, with the tone of the song, in my opinion, instead of like Say My Name, for example, where he's just like asking the girl to say my fucking name out of nowhere. It's like, what the fuck, you know what I mean? It has some relevance to it. And then at the end too, where the song sounds like it's about to fade away, he goes, ooh, 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 ooh. And then out of nowhere, then you get the song playing backwards, and then Tory comes through with another, you know, last minute message, you know, like, fuck you for trying to break the windows of my car. You know what I mean? That shit was clean, you know. And just the way the whole mixtape was structured from the first song to the last song, it just felt like it was a natural, balanced journey that, you know what I mean, it was a good vibe, you know, good chakra coming through, you know what I mean, just flowing through the whole tape, and you felt some type of way. You know, even if you're not a 90s kid, still, like, that tape hits differently compared to the other ones, because you felt as there was an agenda that needed to be pushed, and not the type of agenda that y'all are used to talking about. I'm using a different term. I'm talking about where, like, the whole thesis was implemented with each and every song, but the songs were different from one another. That's all I'm saying. Number 4, I would definitely choose, I hate to say it, but Cruel Intentions. The main reason why I have it low is because it's too short. It's an EP. Had it had, like how I did my own take, and you saw in the Vibe Out series, if it was like 10 tracks long, as a really a good long, you know, LP, I think it would be rated higher. Just like how you got kind of like Lost Cause at 12 tracks, I think that would balance it. And the songs that I put in there kind of exemplifies exactly where Tory really is taking his wavy sounds out, like, all over the map, all with different sounds, man. So I thought that was cool, from tropical to the grime scene, you know what I mean, to a nice banger with Play Picasso, to Honda Civic, a nice R&B slow jam. A lot of ways he tackles it, you know what I mean. And of course, some little bit EDM dubstep here, whatever you want to call it. And then ending it how I kind of ended it with Caruche, it just officially really put Cruel Intentions on the map. And you play that shit back again, starting with Acting Like, dog, you just gonna be on replay mode all day long. Trust me, I got that, unofficial deluxe, extended version of Cruel Intentions on tape, man. Like, straight up. What was the word I was gonna say? Not on map, but I was gonna say like on deck. There we go. So that shit's gonna be playing anytime I'm really in the mood to hear it. Number 3, I'm gonna go with Conflicts of My Soul. I know it's really his first breakthrough mixtape in 2013, and it's been a long time, but it just still stands strong, man, when it comes to really being a timeless, quality classic of a record. Mixtape, don't matter, but still, I consider it a record. From beginning to end, the whole idea of transforming this into kind of like a 1950s like outlook where you're listening to a movie from like a radio perspective, you know what I mean? Like, that shit was clever and unique. And the way you got the skits in, you're listening to a story, it's fucking fantastic. I loved it from beginning to end. You know what I mean? Whether, you could feel like it's partially make-believe or, kind of, fiction based on his life story. Regardless, I liked the direction he went with that tape. It was dope. And the songs coming in, in between with transitions that were just heavenly, man. I mean, dog, you talk about really musical ecstasy, man. Like, that shit puts you in some type of feeling, man, some type of way. And I don't have to name you the records that really turn shit up, man. From slow jams like Up, Feeling Love, Colt 95, you know what I mean, to like bangers like Taken / G Party, you know what I mean, Hate Me on the Low, the song with Kirk Banks, Know What's Up / The Take, you know what I mean, you got bangers in there, Ride, not Ride, but like, what was it called, Driver, yeah, with Roscoe Dash. You got joints all like that. And then to end it the way he did with Gang Shit, one of the most soulful joints ever, absolutely, dog. That shit was, from beginning to end, a classic. And there was a reason why he broke through. That just showed his creativity, the fact that he could put things together like that. Showing example, it's just a perfect example of why, he's viewed as such a musical genius. You know what I mean? You gotta give the dude props. This ain't about dick riding. This ain't about nothing. You gotta give the dude his props. He earned that shit. You know what I mean? Like Kobe Bryant, man. You gotta give that motherfucking shit to him. So don't take it away from him. That was a classic. Hard work. He put it in. It just showed up. The results showed. You know what I mean? With that being said, I'm gonna go with number 2. And really, you could say I'm being a little bit biased because I'm kind of upset that it was that short of a tape. And honestly, if he would have made it 16 tracks deep, absolutely would have been number 1. If it was the way I have it on my playlist, on my phone, my own made up deluxe version, where you got, now it's kind of 17 tracks, but it was originally 16, absolutely. This would definitely be number 1 for me. But number 2 coming in, the way he had it originally, 12 tracks, Lost Cause. Don't get me wrong, I still think it's his most creative project when it comes to really just exploring his sounds. Absolutely, I would say that's definitely number 1. But as far as overall his best, it's number 2 for me, because you know what I mean. Like, it was too short of an experience, and I really was expecting more, honestly. And a couple of things here and there, like how we didn't get a second verse on Gold, which I really would have loved to hear that. It would have been dope. And don't get me wrong, some songs took time to grow on me. Like Henny in Hand took its time to grow on me. Eventually did. I loved it. And to me, it's no knock on Lost Cause. You know what I mean? For the most, really, in general, I would definitely give it, a 99 out of 100. It's such a solid project. And to me, was mixtape of the year the moment it was dropped. First project I ever listened to by Tory Lanez. So, it would be easy for me to be biased and put this at number 1. But I have to keep it real with you. There is one record that does top Lost Cause when it comes to really just being a perfected record. And when we're talking about the deluxe edition, I think it sums it all up. And number one definitely is going to go to I Told You. Right off the bat, from beginning to end, it pretty much, to me, why it's number one is because it has, the collection of all, parts of what makes each of Tory's past work so great, from Conflicts all the way up to, Cruel Intentions, even the New Toronto and Chixtape 3. Well, it doesn't matter, but the Chixtape series in general. From the samples that were used to, the hard bangers like the New Toronto and Dirty Money, I Told You / another one, to even Friends with Benefits. Then you got joints that were just like Cruel Intentions, Cold Hard Love, Guns N' Roses. I mean, you got some dope songs that cover different sounds. Even Love, Come Back to Me, with like that little bit of like that that, what's it called? I don't want to call it dub, but it's kind of almost similar to that. You know what I mean? It's like a little bit of that dub, electro shit. But either way, though, like, that album to me was truly the perfect introduction, and I don't think Tory could ever top that. As far as like a debut album on a mainstream platform, I think I Told You did it. Yeah, I think Lost Cause would have been just as successful, especially if you followed, like I said, that 16 track format that I did. Make it 17 now because I want to include Say That to it. Absolutely, I think Lost Cause could potentially even do better, hands down. So now 1 and 2 are definitely like neck to neck for me, you know what I mean? So don't get it twisted, but absolutely I think number one definitely for now, as I told you, because I still think he has yet to top it anyways. And he brought back obviously the classic Honda Civic, and then Come Back to Me on the deluxe edition if you get the Target version, which, by the way, I still have with me. I have 2 copies. This is one I always will keep in my car. It's still wrapped up, brand new. You know what I mean? Like, to me, it's a classic. One of these days when I'm waiting for the time when I'm successful in my life, when I get there, I'll definitely frame this up and make sure, like, no one touches it and shit. This will be in my private, office room, so something like that. But yeah, that's definitely number one. It's just right off the bat, you get started with the introduction. My name is Daystar Peterson. One day I'm gonna be the biggest artist in the whole world. And to me, the translation I got from that was he wanted to be like Michael Jackson, Michael Jordan, however you want to say. To me, I feel like he has the humility that both brothers did, but at the same time, with his profession, I think, and his talent, really, he could take it all the way to the next level, as long as he doesn't get LeBron jaded, you know what I mean? To which, right now, he's kind of going through that phase, but I know he can pull through that shit and really get better, man. But at the end of the day, like I said, he's trying to have fun, I guess. He's probably looking in his vision that he wants to make the most out of his life before he gets serious and getting, I guess, locking himself up to make that real music again. That could be what a lot of people really being faithful and hopeful on. You know what I mean? We'll see. But at the end of the day, though, like, there's no doubt when this dude when he's tapped in to his inner self, you know what I mean? Like, look out, world. You're about to get hit by some of the most, glorified, music that you'll ever hear, man. And that's from like the hip hop and R&B side, but more than that, you know what I mean? Swavy for him is about combining all different types of sounds, man. All sounds mixed into one, like a melting pot. Same thesis with the United States of America, it's just like all people combined into one, man. And to me, that there's no greater form of love than that. So that's why I believe in Swavy wholeheartedly, man, because I'm like, dog, he's really all about spreading that love across the whole world. And to me, that's what will not make him the best, but I think the greatest to ever do it. That's only if he wants it, man. But like I said, I'm just speaking of facts and results, man. Like, his track record proved it, man, from 2013 all the way up to the release of I Told You. I felt like he was there. Memories Don't Die, it was like half 50-50. Like, he wasn't sure whether to really commit to, to his sounds or really just go with what the flow of the industry was. He was 50-50 on that shit. And I hate that, because I felt like that album was supposed to be his next big step, but I felt like it was only like half a big step and half a step backwards. It's like, fuck, you know what I mean? But yeah, otherwise, Memories Don't Die is potentially an honorable mention behind, of course, New Toronto 1, New Toronto 2, Chixtape 1 for me. You know what I mean? I'm not really that big fan of the other Chixtapes as much. as I am really, like how much as I've enjoyed, 2 and 1. But I can definitely tell you, you know what I mean? Like, they're still not bad projects for the most part compared to what everyone else is dropping. I mean, it's okay. As long as, like I said, he's himself and being him. Like, I prefer definitely 3 and 4 over 5, hands down, you know what I mean? To me, 3, honestly, like, it's just a couple of songs where it just threw off the whole fucking journey from beginning to end. That's why I don't look at that tape as a whole with, just with positive looks. But at the same time, there are songs on there that I really enjoy, you know what I mean? Came For Me, Keisha wasn't bad, actually, at the end. I wasn't a fan of the sample, but I like how he performed. Like, the way he sounded was dope. You know, that's it, really. All right. But that's my top 5 in case you guys were curious. All right, so this